Hi, I'm Teenie Crochets, and today I'll be showing you how to crochet this red, white and blue bunting. Now before we get started, if you like this video, please can you give it a thumbs up now. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps me out. Other than that, get your crochet hooks at the ready and let's get going. Now to make the bunting, I've got my DK yarn and 3.5mm hook. And I'm going to slip knot onto my hook. Now I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Now into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So all into this second chain, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Then I'm going to chain 1, chain 1 and turn my work. I'm now, for the next row, going to do 2 single crochets into each of these stitches. So into the first stitch, I'm going to single crochet 1 and 2. And into the second stitch, I'm going to single crochet 3 and 4. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. For the next row, I'm going to single crochet across these 4 stitches with no increases. So single crochet 1, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 1 and turn. So we're now on to another increase row, and we're going to increase in the first and the last stitch of this row, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet into all of the stitches between. So into the first stitch I'm going to single crochet 1 and 2. Then I'm going to single crochet 1 into each of the next 2 stitches. So single crochet for 3 and 4. And then in the last stitch, I'm going to do 2 single crochets again. 2 single crochets both into that stitch for 5 and 6. Chain 1 and turn. So we now have 6 single crochets, and for the next row, I'm just going to single crochet back along these 6 stitches with no increases. So single crochet 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're back to another increase round. So we're going to increase in the front and last stitch of this row and do 1 single crochet to each of the stitches between. So into the first stitch, I'm going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that brings me up to the last stitch of this row, and into that stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. So we now have 8 stitches. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and then we're going to single crochet across these 8 stitches with no increases. So single crochet for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Chain 1 and turn. So hopefully you're getting the gist of what we're doing. So we do an increase row followed by a single crochet across row. So I'll do another increase row now. So we've just single crocheted across with no increases and turned, and we have 8 stitches, and now we're going to increase to 10. So every increase row we increase by 2 stitches, and we do that by doing the increase in the first and last stitch of the row. So we're going to increase to 10 on this row. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to single crochet across to the last stitch of this row. So just 1 single crochet into all the stitches until you reach the last stitch. So now I'm at the last stitch. I'm going to do 2 single crochets into this stitch. So 1 and 2. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn the work. So now we have 10 stitches, and we're just going to single crochet across these 10 stitches with no increases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're back to another increase row, and we're going to continue doing these 2 rows until we have 22 stitches. So we're going to do an increase row, increasing at the front and the back, and then we're going to single crochet back across the increase row. We're going to do that until we have 22 stitches. So I'll meet you back here once I have 22. So I've now finished all my 22 stitches, and the next thing I'm going to do is single crochet around the perimeter of the triangle to make it look a bit neater. So I haven't fastened off after my last stitch, and to help turn so that I can start crocheting down this side of the triangle, I'm going to complete another 2 single crochets into the same stitch as the last stitch I've just completed. So another 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and that'll mean that in this corner, in this last stitch, there are 3 single crochets, and that's going to give me the leverage that I need to turn the work and single crochet along this side. So there aren't any single crochet spaces, there aren't any stitches along here, so we're going to have to make our own spaces. So as long as they're evenly distributed and not too tight or too loose, it doesn't matter where you make your stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stitch at the end of every row. So I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch at the end of a row. So there's no stitch there, but I'm just going to make one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. And that is how I'm going to make my single crochets. So here's the end of the next stitch. I'm going to insert at the end of the row, insert my hook into that, yarn over and pull through. And if you pull your work, it makes it a little bit easier to see the end of the rows. So now I'm going to go into the next row, pull again, so here's the next row end, do my next stitch there, and I'm going to do that all the way down this side of the triangle. And once you get to the bottom of your triangle, we're going to do 3 single crochets into this bottom stitch again to help us turn and go up the opposite side. So into this bottom stitch, we're going to do 3 single crochets all into that same stitch, and then I'm going to work back up the opposite side of the triangle, doing exactly the same as I've just done. So I'm going to continue working into the stitches at the end of the rows. And when we get to the opposite side of our 22 stitches, into that corner stitch, I'm going to do 2 single crochets. And then I can slip stitch to join and fasten off with my yarn, pulling through my tail. So there I have my first completed triangle, and I want to make 9 triangles in total for the size of the bunting that I want. So I'm going to make 3 in blue, 3 in white and 3 in red, but obviously you can make them in any colour that you want. And once I have my 9 triangles, I'll show you how to join them together. To attach these triangles together, I'm going to be using white yarn, and let me show you how to do that. So with my white yarn, I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 30 chains. So 1, 2, 29 and 30. And now we're going to attach this white yarn to the top of our first triangle. So make sure the triangle is facing the way that you want it to. And we're going to go to the top corner stitch at the top of this triangle. and we're going to insert our hook into that stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through, insert again, yarn over and pull through a loop. So we have 2 loops on our hook. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So I have attached the white yarn to the blue triangle with a single crochet, and I'm going to do a single crochet in all of these stitches at the top of the triangle. And when I have finished single crocheting across the top of the triangle, I'm now going to chain another 20 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. And now I'll pick up my next triangle and I'm going to single crochet across the top, all the top stitches of this triangle. Make sure you pick the right side. So I'm going to again insert my hook into the end stitch of the triangle, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops, and now I'm going to continue to single crochet across this triangle. And at the end of this triangle, I'm going to chain another 20. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Then I'm going to pick up my next triangle and I'm going to continue this until I've attached all of my triangles. So I'm going to chain 20 between each triangle, and at the beginning and end of our bunting I'm going to chain 30. So I'm going to do 2 long tails at the end, but only 20 chains between each triangle. So now I'm going to continue to join all the rest of my triangles. After my last triangle I've chained 30 as I said, and now I'm going to chain an extra 3 stitches, so 31, 32, 33, and I'm going to double crochet back along this chain to make it look a little bit better. So into the 4th chain from hook, I'm going to yarn over my hook and insert my hook into the 4th chain, and then I'm going to yarn over again and pull up a loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook, and then I'm going to finish these off as a double crochet. And now I'm going to double crochet back across every chain on this bunting. So all the 20 chains in between all the triangles and all the single crochets across the top of all the triangles. I'm just going to do a double crochet into the top of them all. And there you have our completed button. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you make any of the items from this channel, don't forget to tag me on Instagram, #TeenieCrochets, and I might just follow you back. Other than that now, have a beautiful day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now!